Hello everybody, this is Anna, also known as Anna Nita on Ravelry. There we have a podcast group and I invite you to join us and chat with us. We have the year-long make-along. Well, it's a knit-along, or you can also crochet socks if you will, because it's about all the socks of stash. A whole year we will knit as many socks as we can. And you asked for Benny that he should make an appearance because you missed him last episode. And Benny, he's here. Come here, hop. Yeah, that's where he prefers to sleep. I think also because of the blanket, because it's very cozy there. So Benny is also saying hi to you because I told him that you wanted to see him and he wasn't there in the last episode. Okay, he is destroying the setting, but I will accept it because, yeah, he's a very good guard for me. When I was ill, he was always at my side, and yeah. My last podcast is a week ago, and in this week I have crafted very, very much because I was ill again. I don't know what's wrong with me. I catch every virus and bacteria which is floating around. I don't know. But the positive side of that was that I had to stay in bed. The doctor said you have to chill. And I couldn't do nothing else than watching TV and crafting. And so I get much done. I have gotten much. You know, grammar is not always easy. So I have to show you two hoes, two half-finished objects, blanket update, another whip, and I want to talk about a new project I want to start, and it is so exciting for me. I have to talk about it today, and I hope you will join. I have already opened a thread, but okay, first things first. Let's start with the first half-finished object. You know, half-finished object, there isn't much what it could be, and in my case it can only be a sock. So I have knit this gigantic sock. It's not for me, it's a present, and this is made out of Regia in the colorway Norway, and it is very special. I have treasured this yarn a year now, over a year, because I have received this colorway from Lily from the Nordic Stitches podcast. She is also a designer. You should definitely check her designs out. She is selling on Ravelry. Nordic Stitches Design or Designs, Lily from the Nordic Stitches podcast. She is a very great podcaster, a lovely designer. She's making stunning stuff, and she gifted me this color. So Norway, because I told in my Vlogmas episodes many times that I so would love to visit the Scandinavian countries one day, especially Denmark and Norway. And so I have received this. And this is for a very, very special person. And so yeah, it was the perfect yarn to work with. And this is a 6-ply. I have done my research now. And obviously, sechsfädig, the German word sechsfädig, which would be word by word 6 strands, should be the same as the English term 6-ply. So there is 4-ply, 6-ply and 8-ply sock yarn, and 8-ply is the heaviest sock yarn you can get. I know. And this is 6-ply because this is foot size European 50. So yeah, it's huge. So yeah, and contrasting is also Regia 6-ply. 2x2 ribbing, 3mm needles, and yeah, nothing to say. It's a plain sock, or vanilla as all the people out there say. I don't know why vanilla. It's a plain sock for me. It has nothing to do with the vanilla. Yeah, because that would mean that vanilla is a boring, plain ice cream flavor. But vanilla is awesome. Really, really good vanilla ice cream. Oh my gosh, I want to eat it now. But it's land. You don't have to fast when you're ill, but I'm recovering already, so I think that doesn't count. So yeah, that's very pretty. And it's a very long repeat actually. So I would say the repeat goes, so I have started here, so I let the repeat start here now. The repeat goes from here to here. Yeah, very pretty. Then I have knit another sock. This is for me because after gray I needed some color, and I was keeping this yarn also for very, very long now. I think nearly 2 years. It's West Yorkshire Spinners. It's the colorway, and that's what I love about it so much. It's Mojito. So yeah, I wasn't drinking Mojito when I was knitting this because antibiotics, but this colorway is screaming. I mean, we have March, so I planned this for March to knit. As I told you, I have planned out my socks in which month I want to knit which colorway, and this is definitely St. Paddy's Day sock yarn, in my opinion. And Mojito is delicious, and there's a dog show stealing this podcast. He is the cutest guy on the planet. Here, look at him. Everything is okay? Yeah? What? Oh yes, I know. What we can't tell them. Yeah, sorry. He is such a good boy, really. So back to the sock. I have knit this on 2mm needles because I did the mistake and used, many years ago now, I think 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Also my first West Yorkshire Spinners, the Christmas colorway, and knit them on 2.5mm needles. That was okay, but first they get very slouchy while wearing them, and second they get very airy because the looser the fabric, the more likely you will get holes in your socks, and they were airy here all over the foot, and that is so sad. So I decided to knit 2mm needles, so you create a very, very tight gauge, very small stitches. That's what I don't like about West Yorkshire Spinners, to be honest. I love their colors, but it is such a light fingering weight yarn that it feels like it takes forever. The good side is you have self-striping, so you're always, it's crazy, no knitters, so non-knitters won't understand ever, but you get always excited for the next color stripe. You know, it's always the same, but you always think, oh, well, yeah, now it's light green, now it's nearly white. Oh, well, the dark green is coming again, and exciting, just one more repeat. Yeah, knitters understand, non-knitters won't. And I really like that. And as contrasting, I have used plain white from Regia. And I always do the wrap and turn heel, by the way. I have found out through the Very Pink Knits YouTube channel that many Americans hate doing wrap and turns. The picking up the wraps is obviously the part most Americans don't enjoy. And they are doing German short rows instead. And that is so funny because first I learned heel, flap and gusset, so no short rows there, no short rows. Then I learned the German short rows because that's what you they are called in German Wickelmasche, because you are throwing it around and pulling it tight, and so you create a Wickelmasche. So that's the German word for that, and in English it's the German short rows, and you don't have to pick up anything, but I hated it. You have to pull so tight, and it was so exhausting for me and my fingers. Maybe because I was a beginner, maybe I wouldn't mind it nowadays, but then I found out the wrap and turn, And that was like an illumination for me, because I enjoy it very much, and I don't always pick up all the 2 wraps. If it gets too tight with purling, for example, or so, I normally pick up the first, so the down wrap from the 2 wraps, not the second you made, but the first, so because that will cover every hole. There won't be a hole. You see? No holes. Okay, you also get these tiny holes with German short rows. Yeah. I haven't tried the fish lips kiss heel yet, because I feel no need for exchanging the wrap and turn heel. But if you have experienced something that you say, oh, I did the wrap and turn back then, but then I found out this heel is so much better, please write in the comments down below. I would be interested. I'm too lazy to check it out, to be honest. Never change a winning team, I have learned. So, but if you say it's so much better, I would give it a try. That's my sock. 64 stitches, 2.0 millimeter needles. And yeah, German foot size 39. Yeah. These were my half finished objects. Then I have worked on my Christmas Eve cast on. I don't know. We have to talk about what kind of crafter I am at the end of the episode in the blathering section. I had much time to think, and we have to talk about it. So my Christmas Eve cast on was the standing rocket. Well, I have to say it's just a rib tube, and the last 8 rows, rounds, I guess, are the decreasing rows, and then you are done. So it's, if you don't like purling, it's not the hat for you. But I like this very much because it fits so well, and it gets pretty much back into shape. I often have the problems that my hats are growing while wearing them, and that's not good. My ears have to be protected. I had an ear infection when I was a teenager, and since then I'm very sensitive against cold wind, so I need a good hat. And this is the second standing rocket. The colorway is Hermione by Gnome Acres, and it is actually Sparkle Gnome. Yeah, and it's pretty. Held double because you need a DK weight yarn, and this is sock weight. It turns out perfectly. So I did this with the Mond Scharf Wolle before, and I have succeeded. I have to say, this could have been done already in no time, but I don't enjoy my needles. Not the tips, they are great. I'm a symphony girl, I really enjoy them. I only use higher or other very sharp metal needles when I have to do many knit-to-togethers. Then I need a very pointy needle. Otherwise, I really love my Knit Pros. And for me, there is no difference between rosewood or symphony or pearls, because the wood is the same, only the color is different. And yeah, I enjoy them. But what I don't enjoy is the cord length. I did a mistake, and this should be 50 centimeter, I guess. Yeah, 50 centimeter. But I need 40, which is 16 inch. And I have ordered it on Amazon, a 16 inch cape, no, not cable needle. Rundstricknadel in German. German word of the day. You want to learn German, you told me so. Rundstricknadel is this. I can't believe that I don't know the English term for that now. Circular. So I'm sorry. I have ordered it. I put it out of the bag, and the needle was broken or not glued enough, so I had the needle in my hand and the rest, and the circular in the other. So I had to ship it back, and I have received the substitution today, so I can switch to the 16-inch needle, and I think then I will zoom through that, because it's always so tight. I don't know why I didn't have the problem with the last hat. I don't know, maybe because I was so excited that it didn't bother me. I don't know. And I have this in my Ravenclaw bag, made by fondant fiber. I'm a very big fondant fiber fan. Fondant fiber fan. Whoa. Okay. That was that. The Standing Rocket is a free pattern on Ravelry. My next whip is my cozy, no, not cozy, but yes, cozy. My words don't come easy. Sorry, the antibiotics and staying at home for over a week is driving me nuts. The granny strap blanket. Yeah. Where's my dog? Have you seen the dog? Okay, he has left the room. I have done a lot. I did all that. I always like to put the clippy marker where I last showed you, so I will count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Das ergibt 26. I'm at the 27th row now. Since last time showing. That is so awesome. I have finished my last magic cake and I'm about to finish this airy magic cake. And I have already wound my other magic cakes. But now I will show you the blanket. I have shown this last time already, but I want to show you what I have done. Because I'm using much self-strapping yarn, especially opal yarns, I don't have plain rows. It's not often the case that I have one color in one complete row. And that is absolutely okay. In the beginning it was bothering me because I loved the look of all the other blankets I saw on the podcasts. But now I really enjoy the looking, the style of my blanket. I will insert a video here. I laid it on the floor so that you can see everything. Maybe Benny is playing a model in this video. Because I'm using opal yarns a lot, so the opal minis from the advent calendar, it's a very colorful blanket, but I enjoy it. I can see me doing another one in more completed rows, let's say. I can see me buying the fancy indie dyed minis and so on and doing another blanket, and then maybe only in pastels or so a more designed, let's say, design scrappy blanket, so to say. But I enjoy this one very much. I really enjoy the fabric because it's, as I told you, very sheepy. It keeps you much warmer than all the, well, it is superwash yarn, but it keeps you much warmer than all the soft indie dyed merino yarn. I can totally say that the sturdier the wool is, the warmer it is. I have sock yarn wise only superwash, but yeah, it is, you don't feel it. I don't feel that it is superwashed. So I really enjoy it. It keeps me so warm. And now I will show you my other magic cakes I have wound. So in this I'm crocheting now are a lot of indie dyed soft yarns, very soft, but the rest I will show you now is only opal minis. Only opal minis. So I think I have about 400 or 450 gram only made from opal minis. So the next cake I want to dive into is the happiest, because look at this. When I see this, I would say it's Bertie Bob's beans in all the flavors, or how it's called in English. Oh, I love this smell. I know I say it every time, but I love yarn which smells like yarn. The next will be this. These bubbles I have more designed. In the beginning of the blanket I had no clue what I was doing. And now I really arranged the gradients so that it will go well with each other. And the outside, look at the outside. It was a rainbow mini. Awesome. Last year, unfortunately, Opal wasn't doing the advent calendar anymore, and I so desperately hope that they will do it again this year, because I enjoy their yarns and I so much enjoy opening the advent calendar every day, and I definitely want to do this again this year. My lovely knitting friend Karina already has asked me today if we want to exchange an advent calendar this year, and I said yes. And I think I would like to swap 2 other advent calendar again. So maybe I should ask the ones I have swapped with if they want to do it again. Lacey's was so very nice, and Nina's also. I had so lovely advent calendar this year. I have shown you my 3 advent calendars. Yeah, I can't do too much because I always have to keep in mind that it could be destroyed and I have to ship another one. So that was what I was doing for Nina. So I made 4 and I paid the shipping 4 times. That is always a little bit expensive, but it's so worth it. And I prefer it much over indie dyed or, I don't know, normal board advent calendars, because it's so much more personal. It's lovely. Yeah, these are my cakes. I think now, I will keep my legs warm under my blanket. It's a lap blanket now. I think you call it a throw in English. So this is future Anna showing you the 2 projects I have forgotten to show you. There is another work in progress. It is the Weasley sweater, and I have done some modifications, just not to the style but to the way you work it. And I have done a lot of progress in my opinion. Okay, I will try to show you this beast. It's very humongous. So yeah, so you can see I have already closed the side seams. The pattern told me not to do this. The pattern told me to only close the shoulders, then to pick up the stitches for the sleeve, knit the sleeve flat, and then afterwards closing the sleeve and the side. But I didn't understand why I should do this. I was preferring to knit in the round and not to seam so much, so I decided just to do what I want, and I have done it that way, so I'm doing it in the round. I always have a hard time with doing sleeves just because I always have to find out which kind of needle I prefer to use. In the beginning I used a circular needle and really used it as a circular needle. Around here I used it a magic loop, what I really don't enjoy, but I have to do this on sleeves because the long DP ends I also have, I weren't enjoying them because they were pulling the fabric down. And now I'm using my 10 inch, no, 4 inch, 12 inch I think, 12 inch long needles, and that is okay. Yeah, the sleeves are always, I don't enjoy them so much because of this struggle here. Yeah, I still have to find out the perfect needle for me to work small circumference, because no matter what I use besides magic loop, because of the weight of the sweater, it is pulling so much down so that I can't hold it as I hold a sock. Yeah, and then I always have to turn the whole sweater only to work the next needle, so that is a thing I really don't enjoy. I didn't sew, I have crocheted them together. I have just crocheted them together with a... I don't even know if it's the slip stitch or the single crochet. I can't remember. I think single crochet. Yeah, I think I did single crochet, and it is much easier, much faster. It looks much prettier than if I tried to sew this, because I'm not so good with the darning needle. Yeah, I think I did the measuring incorrect. Maybe I was pulling the sweater too much and then measured because I wanted to get done with this big part. I think I need more length, but I have decided to finish this completely, wash it, block it, but because I have experienced that my garments always grow dramatically after blocking, and if it's not long enough for me so that it's really an oversized pullover, I just add length to it. I think I can simply pick up and go on with stockinette stitch. That should be possible. Yeah. Yeah, that is what I'm doing. 4mm needles. Wollbutt Primo is the German yarn. It's a tweed yarn, half acrylic, half wool content, and it is very soft but sturdy. And it does feel woolly, so it's feeling sheepy, but in a positive way. So it's not feeling like plastic yarn. It's a very, very good yarn. I have worked with this now the first time, so yeah. And I still have to duplicate stitch the letter A, you know this, because it's a Weasley sweater. And the last thing I want to show you is my swatch. Because of the dark, thick yarn, I needed something more delicate and light to work on, light in color and light in weight. And I have decided to swatch for the Hume pullover. I don't know if that is the right pronunciation. By, I think she's called Elizabeth Kramer. And I am using the Tynn Linne. And the mohair, it's Tynn Silk mohair, I think it's called. It's not the corresponding color, it's another colorway, but these both together look so pretty. I asked in my local yarn shop which two Sandnes garns I can use together for the perfect result, and they said they have this mohair, this lighter mohair also, but they suggest me to use this, and they were right, because that's what I have created. And I think you see the light shine or sheen of the linen yarn, and then the dark halo of this, and that is perfect. Okay, what I did here was, first I used a 3.5mm needle, here a 3mm, and here a 2.5mm, and I get gauge after washing. I have washed this as the tag said. You should always treat your swatch as you would treat the future garment. And I have thrown it in the washing machine, 30 degrees Celsius. And after that, I have gauged with a 3.5mm. Before washing, it was very loose and airy, and I thought I would need a 2.5mm. But now I see, after measuring, I need 22 stitches on 4 inches. I get this with a 3.5mm. Yeah. I am looking forward to that. And I think this won't be itchy, because especially after washing I don't feel itch at all. Because before this mohair hype came around again, I have already worked with mohair because I loved it always, but in most mohair blends was alpaca. And now I know that I can't wear alpaca on my skin. I think I'm allergic. I don't know, because it's so soft. Alpaca is, when I have it in my hand, so soft, but wearing it on my body it's so itchy. Yeah, but this has no alpaca. It only has mohair and silk, and I can totally wear it around my neck. But I will start this sweater after finishing this, because I know when I start this I won't finish this. I will be good. Yeah, I don't want to have too many things on the go now, because I already have so many things on the go. I said it's the last project, but it's wrong. I have worked some rows on my shawl. Wait, I have this in the drawstring bag I have received from Karina. And I did this. I think I have added 2 or 3 shell rows. So 1, 2, 3. It's the Vongole shawl. It's now for me very easy pattern. I'm using this bobble. It has 1000 meter, and that's the company. She has the prettiest gradient yarns, in my opinion, you can get in Austria. I have used many different ones, and this is quality-wise the best. This is so soft, and it is so drapey. Just perfect. It is the perfect yarn for a shawl, and I can't wait to wear it around my neck. On my blue dresses, but I have a red dress, and on the red dress this will be so stunning. Yeah. Okay, now that was my last project. Phew! I didn't think that I had so much to show you this time, but because of being bound to the bed and the sofa, and being home for over a week, sick, there was really a lot of crafting I was able to do. So yes, I want to talk to you about it's a project I'm very excited about, and I don't think that it's, yeah, you will understand. This lovely community will understand. I talked about it with my boyfriend yesterday, and he found it very cool and cute at the same time. So okay, it's about temperature blankets. Yeah, maybe some of you will have some blankets on their minds now. Maybe some of you have already knit or crocheted one and maybe stopped in the middle of the project because you weren't in love anymore with this project, or I don't know, maybe you were in content also, because I found out that there are many people online who don't like these kind of projects. So I heard of them already, but it wasn't something I was thinking about. I had no opinion on that. Not that I thought that it is stupid or awesome or something. I just had no opinion. You know, you see many patterns, but you don't feel drawn to them always. So when I was sick and I was crocheting on my blanket, I was inspired to look up other podcasters who are making blankets, because that's something I feel like it's my favorite project to do. Back then it were socks, maybe it will be again, but now that I am able to crochet, I so much enjoy making blankets. It's something very special for me. It's cozy, it's full of memories, it's a long-term project. I really like long-term projects, but only if I enjoy the process. And with crocheting, I really enjoy the process over the product. So now we come also to the topic what kind of crafter I am. But let's talk about the project first. So the temperature blanket. What is a temperature blanket? That's very easy. You are making, knitting or crocheting a blanket. You pick a color palette and every certain color stands for a certain temperature. I will insert a photo here that you can see what my color chart is. Your color chart depends on the climate you are living in. It will look different if you are living in Texas than in Norway. So why? It's easy. In Norway, you won't reach the high temperatures very often, or maybe not even. Yeah, maybe you don't get 30, 35 degrees or so in Norway, but in Texas, I think so. So that means you have to split up the temperature range you have, maybe from, I don't know, Texas, maybe not even 0 degrees Celsius up to 40 degrees Celsius, I would say. I don't know if Texas does have, I think they had snow last year. It was very, very rare and special. So let's say Texas has 0 degrees Celsius up to, let's say, 40 or so Celsius. So you can split up these temperatures and say, for example, 0 to 6 degrees is dark blue, 7 degrees to 10 degrees is a lighter blue, and so on and so on. Depending on how many colors you want to use. You don't have to use the traditional colors like for hot temperatures red, for normal green, and for cold blue. If you don't like these primary colors, you can also use totally different colors. There are many examples you can find on Pinterest, on Instagram, some on Ravelry, not so many, but some. You can definitely go for whatever you want. So I have chosen my color palette already because I found this on Instagram and I immediately fell in love with it. First of all, it's Stylecraft Special Decay. I have always wanted to try that. I have worked with the Stylecraft Chunky for my boyfriend's scarf, and now I want to find out if it's really softer than other acrylics, as all the crocheters say. So the next is that the colors are very friendly and vibrant, but also like girly colors, let's say that, yeah. And I enjoy that very, very much. And the climate range is perfect because she starts with below 0 and goes up to 27 degrees Celsius and plus. And that is the perfect color, the perfect climate range, temperature range for Vienna. So we have all these kind of temperatures. So that's how it works. You work a row every day. Yeah. So that means you look, for example, you can take always the highest temperature of the day. You can look it up online. You can look it up on your own thermometer. Is that the right pronunciation? You can say I measure every day at noon, or I don't know, and I always take this temperature. When it says 7 degrees, I have to take this color and I work one row, and you do this every day. Now you might say, oh, this could be overwhelming. I can't commit to a project I have to work on every day and I will get behind. There are crafters who say, okay, I will always work on the blanket once a week and then I will do 7 stripes, for example. But there could be a time, 2 months or so, you say, I can't stand this project anymore. You can also look back, history, the history temperature from 2 weeks ago or even 10 years ago. I have found our weather station, which is very near to us, and they have online they have a website, and I can look up the weather from the last 10 years every day. And it's funny because I have looked up first for Vienna in general and then the certain weather station, and there were many degrees difference, yeah. So we live more in the Vienna wood side, so it's much cooler than in the first district of Vienna, for example. It's always, I think, 3 or 4 degrees warmer. especially in the summer. You always notice that when you come home, when you are going out with friends and you step out the subway and you come in our district and you say, okay, it's very fresh here. So I have found this weather station. I have a quick link now on my desktop and I can watch it every day. I have written down the last month, because normally you start temperature blanket. Where's my... Oh yes, there. Normally you start it at the 1st of January and it's always very exciting, and I'm sad that I didn't do this because I haven't come around that pattern. I looked up all the degrees and I have written them down. And just because I wanted to see how the colors will work together, I colored in a similar color I will use for the degrees. Yeah, there you can see it's crazy. It's so crazy. What I like about this project is also that you really can be, that you get aware of climate change. Yeah, it's crazy hot. Our February was crazy hot. We had always around 10 to 15 degrees. That's crazy. Very crazy. In January we had one day with 14 degrees Celsius. That is crazy. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's fun. It's being aware of climate change and nature and so on, and being connected to nature, to think about, oh, what is the weather today? Why is the weather as it is? And so on. And also it is fun because you do it every day and it's a long-term project. You can do it as a craft along, or a crochet along, or a knit along, whatever you want to call it. So there is also community involved, and at the end of the year you really have this blanket, and that is great. I have to warn you, if you are thinking about starting a blanket and you are already excited, what I hope you are, keep in mind that you have 365 rows. Keep in mind, because I was like, oh well, I will do a granny stripe blanket, awesome, I will use special Stylecraft Special Decay and so on and so on. And then I looked up and some people were writing, oh, this blanket is getting so crazy long. And you should measure how high your stitch is of one row, because you have to keep in mind that you have 365 of these rows. So my blanket would have been 3.5 meters long if I did what I was going to do. So I looked up some stitches. I was thinking about doing the only single crochets, but now I found the linen, or also called woven stitch, or also called moss stitch in crochet, and it looks like the pearl stitch or the moss stitch in knitting. And I have a sample here, and this is very interesting looking, and the stitches aren't too tall. So this is the sample for single crochet. It's only small. Yeah, because I only wanted to try. Yeah. But I'm not sure if it could be a little tight. It's pretty. Now that I see. Yeah, I don't know. But the linen stitch looks like, I don't know, it looks more interesting, doesn't it? So I haven't done the complete same thing, but you get an idea. I think you have to keep in mind that you have many colors next to each other, like here. And I think it could be prettier, instead of only having them all only next to each other, like here, that they stick together like two jigsaw puzzles, you know? So maybe it fades into each other in a better way than only doing them next to each other. I don't know, I think both could be pretty, but I will do this because I want to learn a new stitch, and yeah, it should be an interesting stitch for you and easy to make, that you keep doing it 1 year. So this will be my temperature blanket. I'm so excited. I can't wait it. And I ordered the yarn online on loveknitting.com. Is it .com or .de? I don't know, I'm sorry. And they had 20% off everything. So it was a very good deal. And I have ordered, maybe also an information which could be interesting for you. Maybe you think now, okay, I have my color palette now and I have my stitch pattern, but how much yarn do I have to buy from every color? You can't know that. What you can do is you can do your research on the last year, for example, and look up how the temperature was the last year, but I wasn't that good in calculating that and calculating the average temperature of every week and which colors you would need, how much, and so on. I have bought 2 balls of yarn of every color, and if I need more, I will order another one. Keep in mind that you should use a yarn you can get easily again. So don't use indie dyed yarn which you don't know if the dyer will dye when you need it. You know what I mean? So Stylecraft Special is for me the perfect choice. Yeah, that is that. Now we come to the other thing I want to talk about. What kind of crafter am I? So, doing a podcast, you get often, is it seduced? I think that's the word, to craft for the podcast. And that is not what it is about. The positive side of doing a podcast is that you are motivated to, if you are close to finish a sock, you are more motivated to finish it because you can show it off on the podcast and share it with your knitting friends online. But sometimes when I wanted to work on this blanket, and that was the only thing I wanted to work on, I didn't do this because I thought, okay, but when I do this the whole week, I can't show anything on the podcast besides this blanket, and that's nothing I can talk about for 20 minutes or so. Well, I could, but it wouldn't be interesting for you. The second thing is, although I have many, nice to show things on mind I really want to make. You can look up my queue. There are many sweaters I want to do, and I have swatched for another sweater project already. There is often a time I really only want to do something that might not be so interesting for the podcast. Well, I love to see blankets, for example. I love to see, and I would love to see the progress of a boring granny stripe blanket as mine every week. If a podcaster would say, oh, this is my progress from last week, and they show off 5 rows or so, I would love to see that because it's something I really like to see. I like the colors and the coziness and everything. But I don't know how many people are really interested in that. So I have realized that it's that way, and I can only show you what I did. I won't force myself to work on a sweater just to show you, oh, here's my colorwork sweater, because everyone is doing colorwork sweaters and I have to be like them. No, I don't have to be like them, because you don't need a copy of another person, because this person already exists. You need a variety of people, right? And the most important thing is that the crafting is, for us all, I think, our refuge, and our hobby or passion. We need to unwind and to relax and to produce stuff you love. That's what it is about. So maybe I can learn that I can relax and I don't craft for other people to show, but for me to enjoy. And I think the more I enjoy the process and the products, even if it's only making blankets, for example, the more you will enjoy, because that is real, then I'm real, and real persons are always the persons I enjoy to be around with. So yeah, that is everything for today's episode. If you want to join me in doing the temperature blanket, please do so. I really want to do this as a craft along. I want to show my progress and I want to see your progress, and I'm so excited about it. And I have opened the thread already, and if you want to join, hop over there and say hi. If you are already doing such a project, post your progress. I'm so curious. And yeah, now I will give my voice a rest because I'm feeling already that it hurts again. And I can't wait to see you again, hopefully next week. And I'm wishing you lots of love and time for what you need and what you love, and for knitting and crafting. And thank you for the time and that you have listened to me again. And yeah, be blessed. Bye bye.